The video shows cops arresting a man, so the question arises, what has the man committed? Stay tuned to the video till the end to find out what's going on.
How you doing, sir?
Good.
All right.
What's up?
Deputy Troy with the Sheriff's Office. The reason
Okay.
I'm stopping you is your plate's obstructed.
Yeah.
Whatever that thing's got, you got to take it off, okay?
Okay.
Because it got to be visible within a certain distance. Now, when you went to driving school and a cop pulls you over, what they tell you?
Oh, you pull over when it's safe to do.
No, you pull over immediately.
The officer stops the man and warns him that the reason he was stopping him is that whatever the thing he has to take it off. It has to be seen from a particular distance now. When you go to a driving school and a cop pulls you over, you're told to pull over when it's safe to do so. I'm not sure what you're doing inside this car, if you know what I mean. Safety comes first, therefore pull over immediately if for any reason I believe it is unsafe.
You know what I mean? But when you keep rolling, it makes it go to from like just a routine deal to
I
like.
just didn't want to stop right there in the road where there's nowhere to pull over.
Yeah, well, I initially turned on right when you were in front of that little
I
store.
wanted to get sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know what I mean.
But you were like way back there. I didn't know if you're running your sirens for me or for.
Well, and then even then, when you see sirens going, what are you supposed to do? Still keep going or pull over so the cops can go past you?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The officer further explains to the man his driving lesson and what got him suspicious.
Former NDOC, and I used to work security at Harris.
Oh, okay.
I'm a contractor.
After the officer finished his incorrect driving lesson, he started asking questions to the man that could incriminate him. So, let's see further what he did.
My partner called me. I'm a contractor with Southwest Gas.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to go over there and get him logged into his computer.
Okay.
So I was kind of in a rush.
Hey, you live where?
Here in Carson City.
Where at?
Imperial. 33330.
I haven't stopped you before, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to, because you said, but I can't. In my mind,
The man then gives him the answer to all of his questions. The officer asks him where he lives and has he stopped him before. The officer further asks him if he has any guns in the car. The cop then checks out the car to see if he's telling the truth.
28. I copy. X-ray 5. The 28th is going to be 8 Victor Union Tom 670 California. So you just got the car, right?
In November.
Or okay.
Yeah.
Well, because you gave me this, that's why.
Sure. It's whatever's.
The man continues, as I said, you know what, when you're this far behind though, to me it was like, all right, is this man pulling me over or what's going on? Yeah, once I'm on there and I don't have anywhere to pull over, you know what I mean? I didn't want to just pull over and stop clogging up traffic at that point.
Like, all right, is this guy pulling me over or what's going on?
Yeah.
So once I'm on there and I ain't got nowhere to pull over, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't want to just pull over and stop and hold up traffic like that. So.
And at that point, we'll make that call. If there's too much traffic, we'll make that call for you.
The officer informs the man that he's passing information on to his partner so he can run and check on the man. The officer goes to the other side of the car and tells the man to lower the glass. The cop realized that this man couldn't shut up and was willing to answer additional questions. He became determined to discover something damning to utilize in order to arrest the man. Fortunately for this cop, he finally obtained what he desired. So, what did this man reveal? Let's find out.
What do you got right there up front?
That's a siren. I contract here.
You contract?
So some of the work I do requires to have a siren.
A siren?
This used to be a
Yeah.
Some of I contracted.
The officer then asks him, what do you have right there in front of you? The man responds, I got some contract strip to have sirens. The officer asks him further to turn it on. The cop returns and says, I'm going to take you out like this just to check. And, okay, we'll push that one for you. Put that down for now. So you're not in law enforcement, are you? You're a cop now, but you work security, right?
So I'm going to put these on for now, okay? Because when relax.
Yeah, I contract work, so I have to have lights on the vehicle for some work.
They shouldn't be that color.
Yeah, they shouldn't be red and white, brothers.
No, it depends on who you're contracting with. If you contract with law enforcement,
Which agencies do you contract with?
it varies. It's DOJ.
Name, son. DOJ? So you have a contract?
I've worked.
Okay, so you have a government ID?
I have a contract.
Where's that?
The cop arrests him and tells him, I want to relax track work, so I need to have lights on the vehicle somewhere. They shouldn't be that color, brother. They shouldn't be red and white. With what agency do you work?
This you too?
Federal Bureau of Investigation?
The cop was only being pleasant when he revealed how he obtained the device, since he was a contract special security agent. At that point, the seemingly friendly cop transformed into a cop determined to put the man in jail.
So I'm going to read you your rights too, okay?
Sure.
Because you're handcuffed, you know what I mean? So I feel more comfortable that way.
That's fine.
So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used in the court of law.
Yeah.
You have the right to talk to an attorney, have him present with you prior to any questioning if you wish one.
Sure.
If you cannot afford one will be provided to you by the courts. Okay, have your rights in mind. You want to talk to me? Let me see this thing over here.
The officer replies, I'll also read you your rights. Okay, you're chained, you know what I mean, so I'm more comfortable that way, and the other rights are unaffected. You state that Canada will be utilized in court law if the appropriate decision is made to return him to prison with you prior to any questioning. If you can't afford one, the courts will supply one for you. Okay, I have your money rights. If you want to talk to me, let me know.
No guns, right?
Nah.
Inside the car?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool, because, like I said, man, too, there's money in. Okay. Put that back in, so I'll put it in the bag, okay? So the reason that you're in cuffs, okay, is per NRS. Unless you're a sworn officer.
I know in Nevada everybody states.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have red and blues.
Sure.
Right? Because then you
Sure.
could easily impersonate
I'm red.
a police officer.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, that's the reason I have you in cuffs. Okay?
All right.
You have this.
The officer checks him out, asking if he has a gun. Further, he reveals that according to NRS, you're not allowed to have red and blue lights, unless you're a sworn officer, because it allows you to easily resemble a police officer. Yeah, that's why I have you in cuffs, okay? You have this?
So who issued this to you?
My former employer.
Your former employer?
Yeah.
So you used to work for the FBI at one point?
I've contracted with the Department of Justice and the FBI and other
Here in
Reno.
Here in Reno? Where's their office at or what?
Resident agency. It's off of it's next to Wells Fargo. It's right by the traffic circle there.
Okay. I'm just throwing out because I'm not idea where they're at.
The officer further asked him what has issued this to him and where are they. The man further states that he works for Southwest Gas too, part-time, and has his own cybersecurity company. The cop takes his answer and adds, well, this right here is a guard card. Yeah, that's Nevada. That's Private Investigators Licensing Board. That's the issue. Yes, and I mean, you're permitted to obtain this because you're a private investigator or a private security guard.
Sure, be like, hey,
yeah.
go follow my wife or do whatever, right?
Yeah,
but you have to go through...
No, I'm also, I'm a cybersecurity researcher also. I don't have to do all of that. To hire me as a PI, I don't even need that. You can hire me as a hacker.
So where did you get this?
That's what I've worked.
The cops then ask him if something irrelevant to see his answer, and they can catch him if he's lying. The cops then ask the man if he can follow his wife because he thinks she is cheating on him. The other's still suspicious and says he's going to call somebody if he's impersonating an FBI officer. The cop inspected every aspect of the man in his car for incriminating materials, including the guy's personal financial information, such as his crypto wallet details. This cop was so stupid he didn't identify those details, disclosing them to the entire world. Any good crypto hacker might have utilized those details to empty this agent's crypto wallet. The only thing the special agent did wrong was having a disguised car plate. Everything else was in violation of his constitutional rights as a U.S. citizen and special agent. On November 14, 2022, an incident occurred at an SKLD Wyoming nursing home involving a staff member named Sue and a visitor named Michelle. Sue, the administrator of the facility, called the police on Michelle, accusing her of trespassing and taking pictures of her mother without permission. Despite Michelle's claims that she had not committed any crime and that the nursing home was a public facility, the police quickly convicted her of trespassing and detained her.
She's not on the trespass list, so officially trespasser.
There you go.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Sue. I'm the administrator. So we have a family member who had an allegation against her, and so we've reached out to her and let her know that if she wants to visit, we need to meet with the team here and figure out a way we can keep the mom from being. Her guardian does not even want her to visit, but we talked her into letting her. If we do supervised or promise that she won't take pictures of her mom and put them all over Facebook and TikTok and stuff because the guardian doesn't want that happening. She came in, refused to talk to me, slammed the door in my face, wouldn't let me in the room. So I don't know.
You want to trespass?
Yeah, at this point, yes.
Way to get her out of
Until she will come in and meet with us and figure out what we
you can always
do.
take the no trespass order away, but let's get her trespass. That's
because I don't want to not let her see her mother, but she needs to do it so we can keep them out safe.
During the encounter, Michelle argued that the nursing home, being publicly funded, should not be able to trespass on her without reasonable cause. She even mentioned contacting the facility's vice president, who allegedly stated that she had not committed any crime. Michelle believed that her actions were protected by her First Amendment rights, allowing her to visit the facility and take pictures freely. However, the police insisted that trespassing occurred because the nursing home, as private property, had the authority to restrict entry as they deemed necessary. They maintained that Michelle's refusal to cooperate and meet with the facility's team justified her trespass conviction.
Pretty much like anywhere, just like if you walk into a speedway, they can say, hey, I don't want this person here anymore. Doesn't matter what the reason for it. If they tell me that, and they want you, they say, hey, I want them trespass.
So when I come back tomorrow, I go to jail?
Yeah, you can't come back until you
I
figure it
will
out.
be coming back.
Oh, yeah.
And I already let the vice president and president, I spoke to them today. They said, we haven't heard anything. Well, then why are they doing this? You might want to call her.
Call them and tell them to talk to Sue then.
Correct.
That's the best you can do right now.
Yep, this is just I'm sorry, this is a fucking joke.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but so don't come back on the property until you clear it up with the
I'm coming back tomorrow. I'll be here every day, and I don't care if I go to jail. I've already been told by lawyers, by the advocates that help Britney Spears. National News, the News 8, everybody's on this. So they've already told me, if you have to push the envelope, because that's just going to seal the lawsuit. Huh?
You're not going to be able to do that.
No, but it'll seal the deal when I'm getting arrested for no crime.
Trespassing ought to be the crime.
No, but that's what I'm saying. They can't say I'm trespassing when I've committed no crime.
That is the crime. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Michelle expressed her frustration and stated her intention was to return to the facility, disregarding the trespass warning. She believed that her case had gained significant attention, citing advice from lawyers and advocates who had helped Britney Spears. She asserted that pushing the envelope and standing up for her rights would strengthen her potential lawsuit against the nursing home. Furthermore, Michelle claimed that one of the police officers violated her Fourth Amendment rights during her detainment. She alleged that he forcefully tried to seize her phone while she was attempting to inform her children of the situation. Despite not having committed any crime that warranted handcuffing, she was restrained by the officer.
I'm not giving it to you.
Okay, well then you're going to be detained until we figure that out then.
Huh?
Then you're detained until we figure that out.
Why are you detaining me?
Because right now you have to be trespassed.
Okay, well, can I make one phone call?
Nope, you have to give me your driver's license.
I don't
just tell me your name.
Give you already know my name.
Okay, can you write down her name?
Oh my God!
Exactly how it's spelled.
So
until we can find you and we can figure out who you are.
Hold on, I'm gonna call and let them know. Go pick up my kids that I'm being arrested.
You're not being arrested right now.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
being detained.
So detained and arrested are two different things. Being arrested means that you've been charged with something. Being detained is temporary.
Hold on, I'm being detained.
Okay. Do you want to?
Because I won't give them my license.
All right. So
I've done nothing wrong.
What's your date of birth?
I've committed no crime.
What's your date of birth?
I committed no crime.
Okay, now you're being detained then. And then we'll get a fingerprint scanner and then we'll figure it out. Let go of the phone.
Randy, you want to work with the little.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right now,
we're not playing games with you.
Only if I've committed a crime and reasonable articulable suspicion, and I've done nothing of the sort.
So right now you've been trespassed, okay?
Uh-huh.
So we need to identify you so we can successfully trespass you by doing our lawful job. Okay.
Michelle's perspective on the incident raises concerns about the staff's handling of her visitation rights and the violation of her constitutional rights by the police officers. She intends to take legal action, asserting that her rights were infringed upon throughout the incident. In yet another troubling incident that occurred on October 31st, 2022, a visually impaired man named Jim Hodges was illegally arrested and detained by two Columbia County cops in Florida. The officers, Deputy Jamie Godey and Sergeant Randy Harrison, claimed that the walking stick Hodges had in his back pocket was a firearm, leading to his arrest without lawful authority. The encounter was captured on video by Hodges himself. When the officers approached him and questioned the object in his back pocket, Hodges explained that it was a walking stick. However, the officers insisted on obtaining his identification and detained him, citing their suspicion he was carrying a weapon.
Hey. What's this in your back pocket? I just saw you walking it.
It's a navigational aid. What's the problem? You a tyrant?
Yeah, I am actually. What's your name and date of birth?
I don't have to give that unless
Yes, sir. I was investigating.
You have reasonable.
Do you want me to put you in handcuffs right now? Yes, sir, I do.
Hodges questioned the officer's authority and refused to provide his identification, stating he had not committed a crime. He asserted that his Fourth Amendment rights protected him from unreasonable searches and seizures without probable cause or a warrant. Despite Hodges' explanations, the officers continued to detain him and insisted on checking his identification.
Well, you're being one to me.
No, sir, I'm doing my job.
Am I detained?
Yeah, you are. What's your name and date of birth?
It does not matter.
Yes, sir, it does.
Do you have a crime?
Would you like me
Call
to
your
put you in?
supervisor,
He's right
please.
here.
All right.
You don't.
Sir, what you stop for?
For a walking stick.
So,
And it could look like a weapon. She asked you to really present it, okay?
Now she's asking me for ID.
Okay.
I don't need the ID unless there's reasonable articulated suspicion that I have committed a crime and committing a crime or about to do a crime.
Sir, and her suspicion was that you were armed, okay? And she's asking you for your ID.
Well, now she has verified that I am not armed.
Okay.
So there is no
you have
problem.
your ID or not?
I do have my ID, but you don't need it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Sir, you do that.
7-7 Whiskey Mike 15. Where's Walden?
Where's your wallet at, sir? I don't have a wallet on me.
Okay, where's your ID?
Where's your ID at? Pocket. Which pocket? You are not allowed to search me.
It's in this pocket.
There you go.
Thank you.
The incident constitutes a clear violation of Hodges' Fourth Amendment rights, which protect against unreasonable searches, seizures, and false imprisonment. Florida statutes define false imprisonment as forcibly confining, abducting, imprisoning, or restraining another person without lawful authority and against their will. In this case, the officers wrongly arrested and detained Hodges, despite identifying the object in his back pocket as a walking stick.
It's gonna be. I want your name and your badge number. You know, I'll put you in jail for resisting.
Okay. Alright, let's go.
I want your name and badge number too, sir.
Have a seat.
You wanna pick my property up, please?
I sure will, after you have a seat.
You wanna pull this out of my back pocket?
Sure. Here, I'll grab your jacket for you, too.
After an investigation by the sheriff's office, it was determined that Deputy Godey and Sergeant Harrison had violated several department policies. As a result, Sergeant Harrison was immediately demoted and suspended without pay for 7 days, while Deputy Godey received a 2-day suspension. Both officers were also required to undergo remedial training on civil rights. Hodges has retained an attorney and plans to file a lawsuit against the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. He's also requesting a federal investigation into the incident. The case highlights the importance of protecting individuals' constitutional rights and holding law enforcement accountable for any violations. In this next video, in May of 2020, an incident unfolded in Columbia County, Georgia, where a man was filming a video outside the store. However, the owners of the store called the police on him, prompting officers from the Columbia County Sheriff's Office to respond. The officer in charge approached the man and requested his identification, citing a call about his videotaping activity.
Yeah, we got a call about your videotaping on the property. Do you have it?
No, I'm not on their property. I never step on nobody's property.
Oh, okay.
No, sir.
No, I've just got the call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
Do you have a driver or a license?
Well, I don't show my ID. I don't do nothing wrong. You understand? I'm filming in public, giving people free advertisement, and they approach me. And if you could just tell them that I'm not doing anything wrong, and
but you weren't on the property.
No, sir. I'm very careful not to do that. I'll pull GIS surveys, and been doing this a long time.
What are you videoing for, if you don't mind me asking?
First Amendment, protected activity. Just
doing like
yeah. Free advertisement.
Do you live around here? Are you from here? I'm
not from around here. Most people know me. I do this. I go around and, show people right from wrong from right. And, when they say they call the police, I don't leave. Yeah.
Just checking on it.
Yep.
But you were never on the property?
No, I'm very close. Never ever to do that. Matter of fact, far as I was right there at the edge of the curtilage, the GIS survey starts.
The man asserted that he had not committed any wrongdoing and explained that he was filming in a public area to provide free advertisement. He emphasized that he was careful not to trespass or infringe upon anyone's rights. Refusing to show his identification, he relied on his understanding of Georgia law, which states that unless someone has broken the law, they are not required to identify themselves. The officer alleged that the man had trespassed on the store's property, despite video evidence proving otherwise. However, the officer persisted in requesting identification to potentially charge the man with trespassing. The man maintained maintained his innocence and questioned the basis for his detention as he had not committed any crime.
Unless I've broken the law, you don't have to ID in the state of Georgia. Am I being detained?
Well, for the moment, yes.
For what crime?
Till we find out what's going on.
To what crime am I being committed?
We were called because you were on their property.
Right, and he determined I wasn't.
Okay.
Hang
tight just a minute, we'll get you out.
Am I being detained for an unlawful reason? Yes or no?
Right now, you're being detained because you were on their property, and we're trying to find out what's going on.
Okay, and I can prove that I wasn't on their property, and they can't prove that I was. Or, there again, issue me a trespass, I'll be on my way, and then we'll go to court, but...
A staff sergeant arrived at the scene, and the man recounted the entire incident, including his rights and the lack of any illegal activity. As the man spoke, the 2 deputies involved in the arrest stood by, seemingly embarrassed.
Morning, sir.
How are you? What was your name and badge number, sir?
Sure, it's Staff Sergeant Johnson, 93159.
Hey, Johnson. I was explaining to them, I'm out here exercising my rights, First Amendment right. Private property starts about 1.2 foot on the other side of that telephone pole per government document survey. Well, okay. Anyway, I did my homework. I'm down here giving some people free advertisement. They called the police to me. This deputy here legally detained me for 18 minutes and 32 seconds for no suspicion of nothing. He told me that I had to show him my identification to be trespassed. I explained to him I was on the curtilage of that road. Right there, their property starts at the front tire of that VW.
Okay.
And I'm trying to exercise my rights. Both of them gentlemen stood in a auditorium or courthouse with their hand on a Bible, and they swore an oath to protect my civil rights.
Yes, sir.
He's wanting my Fourth Amendment violated. He's wanting my First Amendment violated. And they called the police to me and lied. I got 28 minutes of video that shows me doing exactly what I'm doing right now on public property, exercising my right as an American.
And any time did you go on their property?
No, sir. I'll look. He knows exactly who I am.
Which one?
To the left.
Okay.
And I told him I'm going to file a formal complaint on him and him. And y'all have never, ever had a problem with Columbia County.
Right.
Ever. And once you realize who I am and what I'm doing, and it really makes y'all look bad, man. And I'm illegally detained for no crime. That's a...
As long as you haven't been on their property, that's fine.
Absolutely.
Because you're outside their property, and you're legally doing what you need
Absolutely.
to do.
Can you explain that to them so they don't violate anybody else's rights?
And they don't want you on their property.
Absolutely. And I don't go on their property.
That's why they were just saying a criminal trespass warning. So you've been warned.
I've been warned the first time that don't get an ID. The second time you do. See, he didn't know that. He didn't know that.
I'm good to go with you if you're...
I'm good to go. Am I still detained? Thank you. Well, and thank you. I'll wait till y'all leave and then I'll leave.
The staff sergeant acknowledged the man's explanation and confirmed that he had not been on the store's property. The man expressed his intention to file a formal complaint against the deputy who detained him, citing violations of his Fourth Amendment rights and First Amendment rights. Eventually, the deputies conceded that there was no illegality in the man's filming activity and allowed him to leave without further detainment. This incident serves as a reminder of the importance of understanding and upholding individuals' constitutional rights, even during encounters with law enforcement.